Good morning, everybody. My name is Terry Radigan. I'm from GM Communications. It's a beautiful day in Warren, and it's a big day in Warren. So before we get to our esteemed lineup of speakers, we do have some guests here at the Warren Technical Center, some special guests that I'd like to acknowledge. First, we have Derek Miller, who's a state representative. Thanks for being here, Derek. Scott Stevens. Scott Stevens from the Warren City Council is here. We want to thank Scott for being here. We have regional representatives too, James Jackson and Jeremy Marley from U.S. Senator Gary Peters' office. And Barb McClanahan, Director of Community Affairs for Senator Debbie Stabenow. And also we have Keith Nelson here from Congressman Levin's office, and we sure appreciate your ongoing support. So as far as the agenda for this morning, we've got the lineup of speakers here to my left, and we'll start off with our own Mark Royce, followed by Governor Rick Snyder, and then we'll hear from Macomb County Executive Mark Hackel, and batting cleanup today will be Warren Mayor Jim Fouts. So it's my honor to now introduce the Executive Vice President for Global Product Development, Purchasing, and Supply Chain, Mr. Mark Royce. Mark.
Thanks, Terry, and good morning, everybody. And it's a beautiful day outside. A little cold this morning, but that's all right. We're getting our chillers and everything up and online that were taken out by the floods. So appreciate all the help with getting the place up and running again here from everybody. This morning, just now, I had the distinct pleasure of informing our employees about some very exciting news just next door here in our cafetorium. Today, we are announcing a multifaceted, multi-year, full-scale renovation of our Warren Tech Center campus, starting immediately. This project represents a $1 billion investment in this complex, and in this company, our people, our products, and our customers. Frankly, it's an investment in excellence. It will include both new construction and significant renovation of existing facilities. And it will result in about 2,600 new jobs right here in Warren, Michigan. At General Motors, we have one goal: earn our customers for life. And we plan to do that by leading in technology, safety, engineering, and design. To do that, we need the best facilities, the best studios, the best labs, the best workflows, and the best product development organization we can assemble. Today, we're taking a big step toward making that happen. It's going to take a lot of work, time, and money to get there. But I told our people today that they're going to need patience during the construction phase, but it's going to be very much worth it. And I thank them for their cooperation, just as I have to thank the state of Michigan, Macomb County, and the city of Warren for their cooperation and partnership. County Executive Hackel and Mayor Fouts, thank you for being here today, and thank you for your encouragement and your leadership. I would also like to thank you, Governor Snyder, for being here and for your support of the MEGA tax credit you facilitated to bring investment like this to Michigan. It really stokes the fire, and your support of such programs help GM continue to make investments right here in Michigan. I'd also like to thank our UAW partners for their support. Two locals, Local 160 and 1869, represent some of our employees on campus here, and they have been nothing but encouraging through this process. If you look at some of the properties, some of the testing, some of the design work that's done, it's done by an incredibly talented workforce of tradespeople and excellent automotive people that have been in the industry and really true craftsmen. And they're right here in our Warren campus. So thank you for being here, and thank you for your support. Some of the details about the construction and renovation are in the news release we put out today, so I won't go into all that right now in the interest of time. But suffice to say, we have about 19,000 employees here, with more on the way, and there isn't one of them that won't be positively affected by this in the end. And when we're finished, we'll have a much more efficient and collaborative work environment with more open spaces and much improved facilities. Developing a new car, truck, or crossover takes a total team effort, and any team works better when the workplace is set up for we instead of me. That's how we're going to be here in this building and across all of this historic campus. So the biggest winners will be our customers, because our vehicles will only get better as we become more efficient and adapt at creating them. And on a personal note, I feel like I'm a winner in all this too. I've been coming here for 30 years, and even before that, when I was a kid, I used to come here with my dad on Saturdays. It was a dream of mine to come to work here. I know it's been designated a National Historic Landmark, but to me, in my heart, I had already declared it as such well before it came official. So this means a lot to me. I know you'll have questions, and we'll get to them, but I want to hear from some of the people who helped get us here today. Again, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Our next speaker is the 48th governor of the great state of Michigan, Governor Rick Snyder.
Well, thank you. This is an awesome Pure Michigan Day. This is incredible. Thank you, General Motors, and thank you to all your team. Mark, we appreciate the partnership. This is truly an exciting day. On an interesting note, if you looked, it'll almost be 60 years in terms of this facility. And if you look what happened, this was a revolutionary place when it was created. But the exciting part is, nearly 60 years later, it's going to continue to be a revolutionary place. The growth doesn't stop. The excitement, the innovation does not stop. Thanks to General Motors and the commitment of its great people to continue to invest in this place. On a personal note, it gives me hope. I'm getting close to that same age, so it's good to see if you can keep this place going. Hopefully there's hope for the rest of us. But if you stop and look at it, I'm very proud of what we've done in the state of Michigan. Just 2 or 3 weeks ago, I announced we'd cut our unemployment rate in half in this state in the last 4 years. That's tremendous progress. We've created nearly 400,000 private sector jobs in our state, number 5 in the nation. But the point is the government didn't do that. Our role in government is to create the environment for success, the tax environment, the regulatory environment, the positions so free enterprise can work, so companies can be successful. And so when you hear about those numbers and results, it's really because of great organizations like General Motors and your team that made that happen. You're the job creators. And so we need to say thank you on behalf of all Michiganders for the outstanding work, the wonderful products you're making, how you're making customers happy across the world. And we want to see that continue. One other thing, though, we want to be a close partner on is the magic that makes this place work. And it's the people of Michigan. And it's great to see so many of your employees here today, hopefully excited about this wonderful announcement. So what I would say is the true commitment of a top priority I view for the state of Michigan is to continue to develop the wonderful talent we have in the state in terms of science, technology, engineering, and math, in terms of the skilled trades. How do we make Michigan a continuing leader in making sure we give our great people the best opportunities to have the skills, the resources they need so they can work in a fabulous place like this to sustain this great growth, this great opportunity for generations to come. We've got all the elements, we've got all the pieces, and I appreciate the great partnerships. We're on the path to make that happen. So thank you so much, and again, congratulations and thank you to General Motors for this outstanding announcement.
Thank you very much, Governor Snyder. Our next speaker will be a Macomb County executive, Mark Hackel. Mark?
Thank you. And the governor mentioned it. I look out in the front here, I see a lot of the media personalities and other public officials, or those that are representing public officials. But when I look in the, obviously up in the bleacher section, way above, boy, I tell you, this has got to be something incredibly exciting for all of you. Is it not? Just hearing bits and pieces of this and coming to reality of this investment taking place here in the city of Warren. Macomb County, Southeast Michigan, the state of Michigan. Really, I think it's more than just the announcement of the $1 billion. That is an incredible statement to the future of what's happening in the auto industry, in particular with General Motors. This has been around. General Motors Tech Center has been around for years. And in fact, I look back in the history, as the governor was talking about, almost 60 years. It was May 16th, 1956, when Dwight Eisenhower came here for a ribbon-cutting ceremony. If you think about that, the President of the United States was here for a ribbon-cutting ceremony for this facility, and what it has been able to do for Southeast Michigan has been here for well over a half a century. This is something that doesn't get out enough. We don't talk about it, but after today, I think there's going to be an incredible attention drawn to Southeast Michigan. And a lot of it has to do with the leadership of the current governor here in the state of Michigan. If you think about it, this is a guy that's very tech savvy. He cares about the auto industry, and he has done a lot to help work with local municipalities and various counties throughout the state and regions to help grow economic opportunities. What General Motors is doing right here, right now, is a commitment to all of you that are working here that, you know what, security is here. I think exciting because within those plans, they're talking about retaining and attracting talent. That's you people. You're the ones that make this happen. I'm very excited about the fact that they're talking about enhancing what's going on with the cafeteria area. Now, I say that for this reason, because I probably won't be able to use your cafeteria, but I know many of you will, because I can only imagine how elaborate that's going to be. And it's good, because I also know there's going to be tremendous growth beyond just what's happening here outside the grounds of this facility. And one of those areas happens to be the kebab house over by 12 Mile and Van Dyke. And I know there's going to be a lot more employees coming here, and I don't need to be standing in that line any longer than I currently do. On that note, I got to tell you, I think what we're going to be able to see is not only the investment taking place here, but what's going to be happening outside, as I mentioned, the grounds here, is going to be an incredible enhancement to the city of Warren and Southeast Michigan. People are going to be coming here, working here, buying homes in this region. They're going to be wanting to, obviously, go to some of these restaurants, buying cars and riding. This is going to be an incredible enhancement to the growth and other opportunities here in Southeast Michigan. I'm extremely proud to have been a kid who was born and raised just 2 miles up the road here, who has lived here all my life, and to see what General Motors is doing to enhance the vibrancy of this community, this town. So on that note, I want to thank you, Mark. I want to thank General Motors, all of its employees, for the great work you do in the craftsmanship in designing and creating incredible products that come here from Southeast Michigan. And Mayor, you've got to be extremely proud of what your city council and you have been able to do to make this a reality. Congratulations and good luck. And once again, thank you, General Motors. Thank you.
And thank you, County Executive Hackle. Our final speaker is the Mayor of Warren, Mayor Jim Fouts.
To begin with, I got to tell you, this is a beautiful day. And I also have to share with you, I'm a jogger. I run every day. And after I heard this announcement, I wasn't running, I was floating. And I had the best run that I ever had in my life because of the leadership exemplified by Mark Royce and Mark Hackle and the governor. And you know, when I met the governor and Mark Royce earlier, I thought of a couple of things. Number one, I remember meeting Mark Royce at a park, first time I ever met you, in Warren, and he wasn't dressed like an executive. He was dressed like a guy that was working. His sleeves were rolled up, and he had a little dirt on him, and he was working hard. And I said, that's the kind of leadership that General Motors needs. A guy that'll roll up his sleeves, that is not afraid to get dirty and get down to business. And I want to commend Mark Royce, and I think everybody should, for bringing this company back from where it was to where it is now. You know, I also talked to the governor, too, and the governor is like Mark Royce, and I told him a quote. I just happened to be talking, and I said, you know, this is part of this renaissance. This is part of the rebirth of General Motors in the state of Michigan. And it goes with that quote from Woodrow Wilson. I'd rather fail at what I know will ultimately succeed than to succeed at what I know will ultimately fail. And that's the kind of leadership that we have with these gentlemen. People that aren't afraid to fail, people that want to move forward and change this state and change a great corporation like General Motors. Now, with that in mind, I'm obviously happy to be here, and I'm happy that the Tech Center and the city's histories are closely intertwined together. Mark said that the tech center goes back to 56 or 57. I remember when I was a kid and we were driving by here and we were looking at, with my dad, we were looking at this brand new tech center and everything. And the tech center has led to the population explosion in Warren in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. At one time, Warren was, 20, 30,000 people, and after GM came, the world changed with Warren. Warren is now the third largest city, primarily because of General Motors, and we hope that General Motors will encourage these new employees. I don't know how many of you are new, but 2,600, 3,000. We got some great places in Warren for you to locate. Don't locate in some other county or some other part. Come to Warren, okay? Warren is a great place to live. I just got to give you a little pitch. We're clean, safe neighborhoods, great schools, plenty of activities for the family, and we have low property taxes, water rates, and an efficient, responsive city government, right, Scott? And we are business friendly. We did everything we could in City Hall to encourage GM's expansion. A short time after I was elected mayor, GM was in trouble financially. I was frightened. Chrysler was in trouble. Some wanted to have the corporation declared bankruptcy and restructure. Instead, President Obama, to his credit, and the Congress helped, and the rest is history, especially with great leaders today. GM is back in a big way. Warren is proud of that comeback because as GM goes, so goes Warren, so goes Michigan, and so goes the country. And I think C.E. Wilson said that many years ago. I don't know if he said Warren, but I threw that in anyway. GM is helping our city with its investment, and I want to thank you. We had the Campbell Ewald building. They went somewhere south. I don't know why they went there. We have lower taxes and everything, but Campbell Ewald went south, and General Motors is taking over the Campbell Ewald building, another 800 jobs or so, and $35 million investment. I'm excited and I'm happy about that. As a result of all this GM investment, $1 billion that's a nice figure. I like that, okay? And with all that, we have had some very serious offers toward our new downtown area. And as I was indicating to Mark, and I want your help to encourage them, we have a company, I won't say who or what have you, but they want to build a 4 to 6 story hotel that would be like the Townsend or like the Royal Hotel. And I'm very excited about that. And they're going to put in some upscale things. So why should GM visitors have to go to the Townsend in Birmingham or the Royal Park Hotel in Rochester when right across the street we'll have the same place for you? So I'm looking forward to that. We have the Prestige Cadillac dealership, and that's under construction. The Tech Center clearly has been a catalyst for all kinds of great development in downtown Warren. In fact, the 2-mile stretch, and I think I mentioned that to both the governor and everybody. We have a new Walmart. We have a new upscale shopping center going up next to it. We have the new Menards. We have new hotels. We have the Campbell Ewald building, and we have more and more, and the best is yet to come, as my favorite singer says, Frank Sinatra. On a final note, I want to congratulate the GM Tech Center on being named a National Historic Site by the National Park Service. This puts our city and the Tech Center on the map, literally, and we are proud to have a National Historic Site in the middle of the city. So I congratulate General Motors, I congratulate the governor, the county executive, and I pledge that the cities will continue to cooperate to keep the GM Tech Center growing, and by that I mean I welcome all of you. Come to Warren. It's the best investment you can make, and we've got all kinds of new housing here. And thank you, Mark Royce, for your leadership, Mark Hackle, and Governor. Continue to stress forward, and don't worry about critics. Continue to be the leader you are, as Mark Royce is, and all of you are, and everything will come out great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Fouts. Now we have time for a brief Q&A with our guests from the media, so feel free to ask any questions of any one of our speakers this morning, and I'll moderate. Questions? Roop Raj.
Roop Raj with Channel 2. Just wanted to ask Mr. Royce a little bit about timelines when it comes to when we're going to start seeing construction and when we'll see it finally wrapped up, and how dramatically different will it look? This is a iconic place that was built in the 40s and 50s. So what will it look like when it's done?
That's a great question. I think It's already started, number one. So we're already underway here. And Candace and Ken and their teams are finishing the final planning and the timelines for this. But I would say our facilities group has done a wonderful job of timing this out over the next 5 years. And there might be another phase to this as we go. And we'll have to get into it and really see. But I think there really won't be a building or an area on the tech center that's not touched. So either refurbishing it, redoing it. This is not one of the original Saarinen buildings that you're sitting in today. This was done in the 2000s. So this one will be redone. But there'll be some that will be added to as well. There'll be a new design center, new studios for our aesthetic design, as well as a complete refurbishment of those existing studios. So there's going to be a mixed bag there, and what it will look like will be very consistent with why this is a national, historical landmark here, which was the beautiful design work. We're very respectful of that whenever we do something to this campus, and that will be very much still iconic in that design form. But inside of these buildings, we need to redo labs. We need to redo our research and development activity. We need to add on to our IT facility where we just opened a data center so that we have employees in the proximity that can park next to the data center. Those kind of things. Over the last 2 decades where the company frankly was in distress, the facilities and our worldwide facilities, people did the best they could to maintain, but now it's time to redo and reinvest and retrench right here in Warren with the technical capability that is needed for the future of transportation, which is quite different than, as you know, as it was in the 50s. So it's time to really invest in the future here, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, hi, Rod Maloney, Channel 4 Detroit. Mark, for you, rationale as to why here? In other words, what is it that needed to be done here and why? And then also, is it the number of employees, are they being moved from other places here, or are these actual new jobs?
That's a great question, Rod. The latter question first. There'll be a mixed. There'll be some people as we redefine how we do global execution of programs here. One of the neat features of the Campbell Ewald building is to, number one, take a look at the different styles of workspaces and put our people into that to redefine and have them choose the way they want to work. And that's really innovative. But also, the way we do global architectures in cars is really going to change, I think, for General Motors because of the the consistency among safety regulatory environments and CO2 regulatory environments. The way we architect a car will be here in Warren. The way we execute that car for an individual market will be in the market where we sell. And so it'll be a mixed bag of people because of that. So it'll be people from those markets that may come here and maybe they'll stay in a beautiful hotel across the street. That would be nice. And then there'll be the people that are actually resident here in Warren that are experts from around the world on architecting cars. And so this will become a very central hub for architecting our cars. So hopefully that helps.
Greg Gardner.
Has all the damage from last summer's flooding been repaired, and what steps will be taken with the new construction to kind of minimize that risk in the future?
That's a great question too, Greg. No, not all the repair has been done, and we've got, the core focus of what we did with the flooding was to get our workspaces for our people up and online and comfortable. And there's a lot of HVAC, environmental type things that were not functioning, including, temporary chillers that were brought in to cool this building, for instance, and design. Design was particularly hit hard, and some of the basement piece of design was really, really destroyed. And there's tunnels that joined all of these buildings, so a very, very innovative tunnel system here on the tech center, and those were really hit hard as well. So are all of those repaired? No, absolutely not. Are workspaces up and online again? Yes, they are, but there's a lot to do. So, but when we go in and touch these buildings, either in a redo or new buildings, there's going to be a mix of those again. Things like boiler systems we had 5 boilers doing the campus here. Ken Kelzer went and toured that, and he said these things were from, literally the 50s. And so we're going to redo all of those instead of patching them. So that's part of the money there, too, is to redo the current infrastructure that is really just absolutely neglected and decayed. So, yeah, a good mix of those, yeah.
Okay. Back here. Just wait for a mic, please. Thank you.
Hi, Jennifer Bisrain with Channel 7. Mark, this one is for you too. How did you determine where the needs were? Lots of renovation, construction, but how was it? Was there an assessment done? Were the employees here a part of that process? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, we get a lot of, we always have an open door and transparency with our employees, and as we go through this, by the way, we didn't sit in the conference room and get all the answers together and say, we're going to do that. This is going to be a really good iterative process with the way we design, the environment here, and our employees are going to tell us, how to do that. So it's us, and that's really good. But what needed to be fixed obviously became really transparent and clear around the flooding and some of the challenges we've had over the last 2 decades. Our facilities team really knows where the problems are, so that's kind of an easy one. But what we need to do for the future in terms of what is the vision of this tech center and the job it does for our customers and General Motors, that has been worked on over the last year. And so, when we did things like buy the Campbell Ewald building, when we look at how we're going to design and architect our cars, and how we're going to do R&D in the future, those are the things that went into, what facilities do we need? What kind of IT capability do we need? What do we need in this campus, for the next 15 to 20 years to create the vision of how we design transportation for the world? And that, we spent a lot of time on that. And so that part of it, is pretty new over the last year. But what we're going to do on the campus was over the last 2 decades because of the problems, the flooding, transparency and real clarity around what needs to be addressed. But the future is where we really spent the time over the last year and a half putting that together with a cross-functional team. So, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Tracy.
Tracy Samilton, Michigan Radio. Did the need to compete with other high-tech campuses in California and get employees to consider GM play a role at all in the decision to?
Well, I'll tell you what, the need to attract high-quality employees, whether they're from California or not, is the real need. And so, we've got great places in Canada, for instance, our Canadian Innovation Center we just announced. Those are pipelines from places like the University of Waterloo in Canada. We've also got great relationships with Google, Apple, and the West Coast around talent and innovation. So we're not here to be competitive. We're here to win. So when we do this in Warren, we're here to win, and we're not here to compete. So, yeah.
Time for one last question. There's another question here. Okay. If not, I want to thank you again for coming this morning. Have a great day.
Have a good time.